Hello, and welcome to the first presentation of Student Success Week, Fall 2020, Navigating Cyberspace. I'm Tyler Sanders, the Assistant Director of Student Excellence and Development here at St. Leo University. I'm going to be your guide in your first presentation, which is ready to launch into the St. Leo University cyberspace. And so, let's begin where we always should begin, the very beginning. Now, no, we're already in week 4 here at St. Leo, but sometimes it's important that we take some time to reflect on what's went well so far. For me, let's start as little Tyler. In the beginning, I was born and raised in Napanee, Indiana, just a small town up in Indiana, home of Amish Acres, a theme park celebrating the historical heritage of the Amish community. And so I was raised to be simple and plain, and I think we all were. That's the mindset we were born into, is to be simple and plain. But as we grow up, we certainly learn to live a different lifestyle. The news and technology start to change our mentality. And we start to learn an equation that I think starts to mess with how we think and how we work. And that idea is that if we work harder, we'll be more successful and we'll be happy. If we work harder, we'll be more successful and we'll be happy. Now, I'm here to tell you today that I believe that it's actually very much the opposite. If we're happy, we'll work harder and we'll be successful. That's right. If we are happy, we actually increase our productivity by 26 plus percent. If we are happy, in a happy mindset, we increase our productivity by 26% or more. And so, how do we get into this happy mindset? Well, I'll tell you that the government and big corporations will never change your attitude. And so, you have to change your attitude. Now, this is a picture of my mom and not my dad. No, this is Kevin, who I met on a cruise many years ago. And if you've ever been on a cruise, you know that um, you sit at a table for dining and you'll sit with the same couple of people every night for dining if you don't have a private table. And on that cruise, we sat with Kevin. Now, the reason I post this picture is because Kevin is part of how I changed the equation in my life. You see, Kevin showed up to dinner each night and we'd be like, "Hey, Kevin, how you doing?" And he'd say, "Living the dream." Be like, what are you talking about? Okay, whatever. Next night, "Hey, Kevin, how was your day?" "Oh, living the dream." And it started to annoy us. And so by the last night, we said, "Kevin, how you doing?" "Living the dream." I'm like, "Kevin, you've got to stop. I don't know what you mean by living the dream. What is this philosophy? What are you talking about?" And he said, "Living the dream is being content in the moment and being happy with what you have. We're all living the dream. We're out on this cruise ship. We have these opportunities, and that's part of the dream." I would say to each of you that has the opportunity to watch this video, you are a St. Leo student and you have amazing opportunities. There's students that aren't able to watch this video, students who haven't made it to this point, but you're a student who has. You have something that many do not. And so we have to be content in this moment. Sometimes it's not about getting the next best thing, getting the next best phone, getting the next best job. We have to be content and happy with what we have. And so that starts to change our mindset just a little bit, is living the dream in the moment that we have. But how do we start to live the dream fully? Well, I think the big way that we do it is looking at the areas of wellness. And so we have physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual, environmental, financial, occupational, and social wellness. And within each of those areas, we see it as a wheel, as a wheel. And if we get rid of one of these pie pieces, or we struggle within one of these pie pieces, it's like a broken wheel. We're just sputtering along. And so let's take a look at each of these areas of wellness today and think about the ways that we can improve or just take care of that area of wellness in our lives. We'll start with the first one, social wellness. When we think about social wellness, it's all about the relationships and the connections that we make. I have some pictures here of just me and people that I've met over the years being goofballs. I think once we're vulnerable with other people and we're our true selves, it allows other people to be vulnerable with us. And so at St. Leo University, you need to think about those relationships and those connections you're making. Whether it's through a student organization, through a campus resource, a campus job, or your classes, building those relationships, finding those people you can rely on to celebrate with you, but also to be there during the hard times. If you don't have a person yet, start to think about going to an organizational meeting, watching your email to find activities and programs that are going on. This week we have Meet Your Major, which is an opportunity for you to Zoom in with a group of students and just talk about how things are going. So join for that. Find that person you can rely on. In a Zoom call or in a classroom, talk to somebody about how class is going. Find those study groups that you can do virtually. It's about relationships. And so if we're not doing well socially, we don't have those people. And so we've got to find those people that we can laugh with, that we can enjoy time. The next area of wellness is emotional. Now, this is that idea that we're able to understand ourselves and to cope with all of life's challenges. Here's a picture of me. At one time, I was invited to judge what was it, an Iron Chef competition. And so what the students were given was 3 secret ingredients that they had to make appetizer, entree, and dessert. And the ingredients for the contest were shredded coconut, kiwi, and avocado. And if you look at that picture, you'll see that I had a lot of guacamole and a lot of dessert based dishes. But it was a great day, but it was a challenge, right? It was all that food and being able to judge all of that food. It came as a big challenge. And so how do we cope with those challenges? I think that there's a couple different ways. The first one I always think about is treating yourself. When there's a big paper, when there's a big presentation, when life throws us challenges, how do you treat yourself? For me, I go to Disney, I play board games, I watch Netflix, whatever that is to celebrate our small wins. We start to understand ourselves and celebrating ourselves when challenges arise. Also, just recognizing it's a challenge. It's okay to say that we're struggling. You know, in life, sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. I don't think we get told that enough. We get told that you lose. But if you're losing, you have an opportunity to learn. And so recognizing that sometimes things aren't going to go well. And we come up with those strategies to help us to cope through those difficult times. The next area of wellness is one that we know well, physical wellness. Oh, physical wellness. If I had you in the room today, one of the things I love to do is get all the students up and dance. And so with physical wellness, we often think about that working out, but it's also mindfulness. Do a meditation, dance, intramural sports, going on a run, going on a walk, working out, getting enough sleep. This is one you know already so much about. For me, I have to put it in challenge form. This is a picture of me biking the Golden Gate Bridge. It was a goal. It was something I wanted to do, and I was able to accomplish it. But you've got to set up those challenges. The next one I did, I love Disney World. And so I did some 5Ks at Disney World. But whatever that is for you, think about your physical wellness. It doesn't need to wait until January 1st. It doesn't have to be losing 50 pounds. It just has to be some small things to think about. Now, I usually stop here and we would dance or do a meditation. So if you need to pause this video and pull up a meditation, know that there's so many meditations out there. You could probably YouTube middle of class meditation or end of class meditation, and something will pop you up to guide you through that. The next area of wellness is spiritual wellness. I think this is the one that means so many different things for people um, in different ways. It's how we bring harmony to our lives. It's how we bring understanding to our lives. Whether you have a mantra or inspirational quotes like "Living the Dream" or um, something something else that you've come up with through the years, it's coming up with what grounds you. There was a student who came to this presentation a long time ago and really brought this into perspective. They said every day they have a hole in their backyard and they put their feet into that hole just to feel like they're a part of it. They're grounded into the environment that they live in. I think that's something that we can giggle about, but it's something deeper than any of us have. It's having that depth of understanding of what grounds us and thinking on that. What grounds you? For me, it's my family. It's my family is what brings me harmony to life. It brings me peace, is to know that they're there for me no matter what, that they love me. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the podcaster was talking about his mother and that she would always call at the most inopportune times and that she would leave a voicemail. Hey, honey, just listen to you on the radio. It was great. Just want to let you know I love you. Goodbye. And he saved those voice messages over the years. Just a bunch of voice messages from his mother. Then one day, he got the call that she had unexpectedly passed away. The one thing that he always has is those voicemails. But he wishes that he could have answered that call. As a student myself, in college, my family called, and I ignored it. And in all these areas of wellness we've talked about, whether your family falls into social or emotional or spiritual wellness, they might fall into all three. Don't ever put them aside. Make time for those people that love you because you never know when they might not be with you. It's so important. That's why we look at this as a wheel. Because once we lose one of those spokes, it really gets rough. The next area of wellness is environmental. When I ask students, what does environmental wellness look like for you? They often think about their workspace and their living space. Whether that's every Sunday or every Friday, getting it cleaned up so that they're ready to go for the next day, for the next week. This is also being sustainable and thinking about our earth and our planet, using recyclable bottles instead of or reusable bottles instead of plastic bottles. Using that space and finding that environment that you can be successful in, whether that's a study lounge or the library or stopping by the cave, finding that comfortable space to help you be successful is what it is to be environmental. The next area, oh, and I forgot to share the picture of environmental. I apologize. This is me in an environment. It's actually me at Super Bowl Village, which is a big event held for each Super Bowl. But thinking about your environment and where you're at, this was an environment that was specifically fun. I got to meet Adam Sandler and Jimmy Fallon and Adam Levine, and a lot of celebrities that day. But the story that sticks out to me is as I was riding this scooter and walking around, There's so many celebrities, and a student yelled, "Hey, Tyler!" And I turned around and I didn't recognize anybody in that crowd. And the student walks up to me and introduces herself and says, "I just wanted to thank you. I just wanted to thank you for um, hosting those leadership conferences. Thank you for being involved in my life. I didn't know this student from anywhere, but recognize that as a student at a university, every action that you take impacts somebody else. I can't tell you the name of that student today, but I remember how I felt in that moment. I remember how I felt in that moment and how that student was impacted by something that I don't remember doing. That's part of environmental wellness, is recognizing you're in an environment where you can impact others. And so by you being successful, by you raising the bar, you help raise the bar for others. The next area is intellectual wellness. This is the idea to have an open mind that you're going to learn something new and you're going to have new experiences. Back in undergrad, I got to be the resident assistant for our international student population. And I did undergrad in Indiana. And so we went back to my hometown in Napanee. And they said, people in the United States take pictures in cornfields. And I said, no, we do not. And then we took this picture. But that's about having an open mind, being willing to learn from others and their experiences. Not everybody has the same experiences. It's so easy to get along with people that are just like you. But when you take the chance to talk to somebody who's not like you, you'll learn a whole lot more. Take some time to learn something outside of the classroom that's new to you. Take a risk. And when you feel uncomfortable, know that that's when learning happens. When you feel uncomfortable, that's when you know learning happens. The next area is occupational. So for occupational, you may not have a career yet, but you have a major. And we're thinking about how that major is aligning with your values. Is it something that you believe in? Is it something that you would be happy doing on a regular basis? I'm just going to throw some pictures up here of student success over the years. Um, but occupational is finding that place where you can be happy, where you can take fun pictures like this and you can be happy. And so if you're not happy in your major, please reach out to a student success coach so that you can talk about finding something that will make you happy. Because that is one of the goals in life, is to have a career that's fulfilling, that's fruitful. That's what occupational wellness is all about, is creating that experience, that networking that will guide your life to be successful. Financial. This is the last one, and it's one that I don't love talking about because I'm not great with finances myself. I treat myself too much. Here's a picture of Disney. When we think about finances, we think about making smart decisions, but also living out the best of our lives. We need to spend wisely. For you as students, this is probably where my biggest downfall was. I didn't get a job until my junior year, and I should have picked up a job right. Find that job, whether that's a work study job or a campus job, maybe something just small off campus, or maybe it's something in the virtual world nowadays. Find that way that you can be engaged so that you have the financial uh, ability to pay off your college experience and then be prepared to move into the next step of your life. When you get a refund check, you don't need to spend it on going to Disney World. Put that back into your education. Put that into some professional development or networking of some kind. Financial wellness is not about how far you are in the negative or how far you are up in the green, but it's about how you're spending wisely on yourself and to help you be successful. Those are the 8 areas of wellness. intellectual, emotional, spiritual, environmental, financial, occupational, social, and physical. All of them are important. When you look over them, is there maybe one that you haven't spent a lot of time on? Have you ignored those phone calls from home? Have you lost your spiritual connection, whatever it may be? Have you spent way too much money on snacks during the COVID crisis? Whatever that area may be, think about how you can commit yourself to being better. Because the next thing we want to do is come up with some I will statements. For each one of these, I want you to go ahead and do an I will statement. Let me give you some examples. I will stick to a specific bedtime every day, one for wellness. I will attend Mass once a week. That could be spiritual wellness. I will take 1 hour a day for me time. That's emotional. That's some coping strategy there. So at this time, I'm going to put up the 8 areas and dimensions of wellness. And I want you to pull out a piece of paper or your cell phone. Even in this YouTube, you could put it in the comments. I want you to come up with what are your I will statements for each of the areas. What will you commit to over the next year or this academic year to help you be successful, to help to change that equation that we talked about? Go ahead and pause this video here and write out your I will statement. It's so important that we put these in writing in some way because we talk about and think about accountability. We can say that we want to lose weight all the time. We can say that we want to go to bed early. We can say that we're going to make that phone call. But until we put it into writing, until we put the pencil to paper, we haven't committed to it fully. And so make sure that you do that. Make sure you commit in some way. Find that accountability person. So this starts to improve our mentality. It starts to improve the way we think. But there's one last thing that came up in the research, and that was that to improve positivity, we have to do something every day for 3 to 5 minutes. One of these activities can be done for 3 to 5 minutes for 21 days, and you'll have already started to change your outlook on life. You'll started to change the equation, increase your positivity, increase your productivity to become more successful. So here are the things that you can do for 3 to 5 minutes. The first one is write down 3 things you're grateful for. Think about 3 things that you're grateful for in your life every day. Doesn't take much, but we're talking about living the dream. We're content, and we recognize all those things that we have for ourselves. Number 2, journal. Just journal about your day and the positive experience that you had. Whether that was a conversation or a meal or you watched something great on Netflix, for 3 to 5 minutes, just journal out your life. Number 3, a meditation, which I talked about already. Take some time to meditate. Mindfulness, being inside of yourself and being present is so important. Find a meditation you can do. The fourth one is random acts of kindness. Whether that's giving out candy, ordering a meal, or simply writing a thank you. Pull up an email and write a thank you for 3 to 5 minutes. How rare do we receive thank yous? We have a lot of, I think in this world, we have a lot of things that we're thankful for, and a lot of very few people that have ever been thanked. And so write an email to a couple people for 21 days. If that's all you want to do, pick somebody each day and write a thank you for 3 to 5 minutes and send it to them. It's so easy. We pick one of those 4 things: random acts of kindness, meditation, thank you, or just journaling. And if we do one of those every day for 21 days, we'll already have changed that equation. If we're more positive, we work harder, and we'll be successful sooner. By focusing on those areas of wellness, we continue to grow, to be more successful, and to be positive individuals in society. I hope that this is able to help you as you continue your career at St. Leo and thinking about how you can be a successful student. If you ever have questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm Tyler Sanders. I'm Tyler.Sanders at stleo.edu. I'm happy to talk about how we can improve your areas of wellness here. We have PAL coaches here in the cave. Your student success coaches are so willing to talk to you as well. Know that you're not alone. There's a lot of resources on campus that are here to help you. Are you ready for launch here at St. Leo? We're on week 4. So you've already launched. You're on your way. Maybe your trajectory is not on the right path, but once we get that wheel of wellness going right, you'll be good to go. You'll be positive, you'll be productive, and you'll end up successful. Thank you so much for your time. Please feel free to share your I will statements in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to like it on YouTube. You know how to do it. You've been on social media. Thank you so much for your time. I'm glad that I was able to share this time with you and share some tips with you. I was not a successful student in undergrad. And it wasn't until grad school when I started to think about these different concepts that I started to become a better student myself. So take some time, think about your I will statements, and continue to improve for the future. You've got this. Have a great week and go Lions.